Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Michael's Corner. Tonight I'll be interviewing Sal Good. You guys may have seen him from AWF. So before I bring him on, let's just plug in my social media. So you guys can follow me on social media. Facebook is will be Michael's Corner. Twitter X will be at Michael Pam, and YouTube will be Michael's Wrestling Channel. So you guys can follow me on there and whatnot. And without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's bring in let's bring in my guest for this evening, Sal Good. So just give me a minute. I'm gonna invite him on.
How we doing, buddy?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I know like the first time we interviewed each other, it was over on Instagram.
Yeah, and the video
And
didn't get saved.
it didn't get saved and it didn't count. And I didn't keep track because it didn't count because it's not in the I forgot to save it. So now I'm on Zoom and I won't have these issues anymore. So
Fantastic.
so let's just start back over again and tell people how did you get your start in wrestling?
I actually had attended a local American Wrestling Federation show here in Cambridge, where I live. I'd taken some pictures. I had got into a little dust up with Nick Nelson and found out that I happened to know somebody on the roster, and they wanted to give me a shot running commentary and ring announce. I did one show up in Winona, and I ended up running almost 40 shows for him.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That
that was
you
really cool.
yeah, that's cool that you did that. So like we was talking about and whatnot, you are no longer infatuated with AWF, right?
Yes, correct. I'm no longer affiliated with any particular company.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to tell us why you made the decision to, step away
Sure.
from?
It may no longer be Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, but I'm not worried about it. I had a drinking problem that was getting out of control. I decided to step away and seek some counseling and some treatment for myself. Proud to say I am back on the wagon. Things are going great again, and I'm looking to get myself back out there with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because I do remember reading a post that you posted on social media stating that
Yep.
you went into rehab.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you can you dive down deep as to why you decided to get help?
Yeah, I basically had just hit rock bottom. I woke up one morning, I was on my way to work, still too drunk to be driving under the influence in a work vehicle. I literally U-turned my vehicle on the freeway and called my wife in tears. So I need help. And we called the Hazelden Benny Ford Center, and they told me it could be anywhere up to 2 weeks before I could check in. We called them on a Monday. I checked in the following Wednesday. So 2 days later.
Mm-hmm. And
And it
how are you? Yeah, and how are you doing now?
I am doing great now. I have built a sober support network, which is what I was completely missing the first time I tried this. I tried to just do it myself, and as we all know, no one man can do it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm
There's no
just
shame in
glad
asking for
that
help.
you got your lives back together, and
Appreciate
now
that.
that you can get back into doing what you love.
Absolutely.
So, so had did you manage any wrestlers at AWF, or were you
I never
basically
did any
working?
sort of management. I did commentary with DJ Draper and Tony. And then on events that DJ wasn't available for, I would fill in his spot as the ring announcer.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
actually have every show and every match I've ever worked written down in a notebook in chronological order, dates, times, who wrestled who won if it was a title match, who retained, and it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Chris
Yeah.
Jericho saying on a podcast one time, he asked his trainer, "Well, how many matches have you had?" And he said, "Nobody keeps track of that." And Jericho has every match he's ever wrestled written down in a notebook, pen and paper, not digital, old school handwritten. And I was like, I love that idea. And I started doing it from the
Mm-hmm.
first show I ever worked.
And you know something? Um, I keep I keep track of every every wrestler that I interviewed in the wrestling business.
It's awesome.
I keep that digital, because
Yeah.
everything's going digital and whatnot.
Everything's in the cloud.
Yep, I gotta keep track. I gotta keep track. So it's a long list, you know.
Oh yeah. You've been going hard for a while now.
Yep, I interview the people like the Honky Tonk Man, Molly Holly, Trish Stratus. I got
I
the
saw your
most
Trish interview. That was
I
fantastic.
I got the most reviews off of all the other interviews that I did in the past. So so
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to work with some pretty big name people. I got to work with Eugene. I got to work with Eric Rowan. I got to work with oh my goodness, I'm blanking now. You put me on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, our best friend, downtown Petey Brown. Since we're
Oh
talking
yes,
about top
let's
guys
talk
here.
about him. Let's talk about him. He recently had a gimmick change, which is VIP,
I
which
love
I
it.
really like, by the way. I like it when he tells his stories about his injuries, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden he turns heel. And it's like, where you guys were when I hurt my shoulder, when I hurt my knee, when I do all this and that. And I was like, whoa,
Like I was
this is
right
a
here, Petey. I was here the whole time.
oh my goodness. I gotta tell you, I gave Downtown Petey Brown so much shit. And I was like, I want people to hear it.
Good. He deserves it.
Yeah, I want people to hear it. But overall, Petey Brown's one of the nicest guys in the wrestling business.
Absolutely. One of the most
Um,
genuine human beings I've ever met.
Oh my God, he wouldn't hurt a fly. And I know
Unless it's
him.
between the ropes, I've seen him do some damage there
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm talking about Petey Brown as a person,
as a man.
as a man. So I have known him since 2014.
Wow.
That's how long. That's how
10
long I've
years.
known him. And when he was wrestling for my late friend Kurt Alterholt in Minnesota Extreme Wrestling, he took him in, and he told them that he has a bright future, you know, in this biz. And ever since then, we talk almost every day, you know.
Yeah, he's such a good guy.
Such a
He
good
actually
guy.
had reached out
In
to me about
fact,
his treatment. Shout out, Petey.
yeah, in fact, I got a poster of him right here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but he needs to update his 8x10 photos and whatnot.
He needs a VIP.
He needs to be VIP, you
I
know.
love it. I saw that the first time and I was like, this is fantastic. This is
Mhm. Yep,
so good.
yep. Yeah. And he changed his interest theme music. He uploaded that on his YouTube channel. Listen to it, and I gotta tell you, it has a nice R&B vibe to it, and which I really like.
Petey always had a good taste in music.
That's right, he does. And but let's just talk about Petey Brown as a wrestler. As a wrestler, he's the best wrestler, but let me tell you, once he turns heel, I'm gonna give him shit.
Oh, by the cartful.
Oh my God, you should have just saw. You would have just came to
Oh,
the you would have came to the MAW show. No, no, no.
no, the MIW,
MIW
right?
show.
Okay, yeah, I was
MIW
actually hoping to go to that and I ended up getting stuck at work.
show. Yeah. MIW. Oh my God. I was rooting for him. Or was it MAW? I believe it was MAW. He did a promo, and then all of a sudden he turns heel. And I gave him shit. And Petey Brown was so surprised. He was so surprised that I turned on him, you know? Oh,
It's
oh, and then
it's when the what's her face, the smiley girl turned on Bailey. When Bailey
yeah,
Superfan turned, I can't think of her name. I'm blanking. Izzy.
Izzy.
Izzy. Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
actually got to
I
meet her full
gotta,
year when they were here.
yeah. And I just, and P VIP blew me away. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him shit the next time I see him. He was wrestling in the triple threat match last Friday.
Yeah, he was against Wyatt Tortoson and oh goodness, I'm blanking.
Yeah, you're blanking. He was against
Oh,
and
Celtic Wolf. Yeah,
Celtic Wolf and I forgot this other wrestler. Now I'm
Wyatt
blanking.
Tortoson. I remember Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt Torres. Yeah,
Yep.
two. It was a 2-on-1 situation. And Petey Brown posted on Instagram, "Oh, it took two people to defeat him." Man,
Coming
if I
back
was
from
a
shoulder injury.
man, if I was a wrestler, I would have beaten him in 5 minutes, all by myself.
Why don't you get in there, Mike?
You know, Sal, I'm getting close to 40,
I feel you
and
there.
yeah, my birthday's next month, and which is August 14th. Yeah,
Write that down.
if in letter, if the waterman in letter can get in the ring, just think about what I could do to that Petey
Diamond Dallas
Brown.
Page didn't start in WCW till he was 37 years old.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
You
37.
know,
I'm not saying I could Diamond Dallas Page it here, but
age is nothing but a number. If I want to get in
yeah.
there, if I want to get in there in that ring against with downtown Petey Brown or anybody else for that matter, I can get some training and just give me 3-4 months of training, and then after that we'll see how I do. But speaking of wrestling,
Oh,
I I did get in the ring one time. It was at a wrestling show. This was around May of 2013. I was at a wrestling show with my late friend Kurt Alterholt. It was in Winona, I believe. Um, During intermission, the kids got to wrestle against with the Angry Dragon.
yeah.
So, I'm seeing all these kids got into the ring and they were beating the shit out of the Angry Dragon. And many people were saying, "Why don't you get in the ring?" I was like, "Okay." I gave them the $5 because it was $5 to wrestle against with the Angry Dragon. So I put in my $5. I got in the ring with the Angry Dragon. I shoved the Angry Dragon to the corner, gave him a chop. Everybody heard it. And then I gave him the world's strongest slam. You know, Mark Henry?
Mark Henry status.
Yep. I gave him the world's strongest slam and I pinned him 1, 2, 3. And I shocked the heck out of Kurt. Because he the one that saw me wrestle. He was shocked. It's like, oh my God, Michael, I didn't know you can do all this. I was like, yeah, I got something in there.
Little Keith Lee back there.
Yeah. So I did get footage, but unfortunately, it was on YouTube, but now I can't find it on YouTube anymore.
Oh,
But but if I do happen to find that video, I'll
I
be
gotta see
sure to I'll be sure to share it like a mofo.
that. Like a mofo. I'm sharing it too. Oh, I gotta
Hmm.
see this.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm going to post it on my Instagram. I'm gonna post it on face Facebook, and I'm gonna re-upload that video. Once I find that video, I'm going to snag it off of YouTube, and then I'm gonna save it that video onto my smartphone, and then I'm going to re-upload this because people wanted to see that video,
Oh yeah. The
and I
people
want to.
want the footage, Michael. You gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, if I if I can find it, then I will. But if I can't, then I can always do a repeat.
I'll dress up like a dragon.
Yeah, yeah, you'll dress up. I'll have somebody dress up as the Angry Dragon, and during intermission, I'll have somebody film it, and so I can beat the tar out of the Angry Dragon.
They
So,
always wanted to see someone pull an angle where you're the fan that gets picked out of the crowd and then just come out and chop somebody's chest in.
oh, speaking of that,
Speaking of which,
speaking of that, I did get to chop a wrestler. Now this was MIW. This was in 2011 or 2012. I got a chance. Um, Chad Gable,
Yeah,
before,
when
way
he was old
before,
Chaz Bitch.
yeah, wait, hold on. Way before he was Chad Gable, he was Chaz Betts.
Yep.
And he got into the ring. He was in the match. I forgot against who. I think it was I forgot who he faced in the past, but anyhow, he
If
was
you're
in the
watching, let us
match.
know.
I got a chance. And I got a chance to chop a wrestler. I actually chopped Chad Betts.
I was
I
like, not even
chopped
just
him
chopped a
so,
wrestler, you chopped a future WWE superstar.
yes, yeah, I chopped the shit out of him. Everybody heard it. Almost everybody heard it. And little did I know, I got to chop a future WWE superstar.
They're coming in, what, the 29th?
Yeah, I get,
We'll see
yeah,
if
the
we can get you to do it
29th.
again.
Man,
Nah,
WWE
nah.
doesn't allow that.
No,
I could,
God. No. Man,
no,
WWE's allowing some things I ain't never seen them allow. You see, the Creed brothers and Shayna
I mean,
Baszler are
I
doing
tell
Josh
you
Barnett's
what,
Bloodsport.
if I was in, you know what? If I was at a WWE live event and if some superstar, you know, brought Chad Gable over, I'll do it again.
I'd
I'll
do it again.
chop him again. And I'm gonna
Just
chop
in
him
case
even
he
harder.
forgot.
Hold on. I'm gonna chop him even harder. Because I want people to hear it. And then everybody then if WWE is looking for that fan who chopped, Chad Gable, yeah, I was like the whole world's gonna see it. And I'll leave a handprint on his chest.
Yes.
Also, now let me get back to the story on what I did last month or a couple months, I think a month and a half ago. I was at this new wrestling promotion, Wrestle Verte. It was
Ah, yes.
is in Crystal, Minnesota. No, it was in it was in Hopkins.
Hopkins. Yep, Hopkins.
Yep. And Joe Alexander, one half of the summit, he was in the match, and I chopped the shit out of him. I chopped him so hard, he almost ran out of freaking Billy.
All right, I got a funny story there about the Summit. Quick, they were my first interview back in the wrestling world. After I got a treatment, I interviewed them for State of Pro
Oh,
Wrestling.
you did?
Shout out State of Pro Wrestling. Old Freddie Fredrickson.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
Um,
great.
um, so let's talk about that. I didn't know that you did interviews.
Oh yeah, I'm actually this Saturday coming up. Now I'm blanking on the date. I have my second episode of my new podcast, Into the Barricade, coming out. It is a podcast I developed with a friend. We spent 2 years coming up with this concept, designing everything out. He called me Christmas Day, said he found out his cancer was back, and January 13th, I think he was gone.
Oh no.
So I ended up not really sure what to do at that point. I got a random Facebook message about, hey, we like your idea and we'd like to pick that up and run with it. So shout out Mayhem Media as well for sponsoring us.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I did Michael's Corner.
I remember Michael's
Um
Corner.
yep. I got my start in May of 2013, and that's when I started interviewing some of the wrestlers. My very first interview that I ever did, I interviewed guys like Jason V, um, Justin Reno,
We're getting old
and
school here.
yeah, and Andrew Boardman. Or I just call him Boardman, you know.
Just call them
Mhm.
Boardman.
Yeah. And I miss him, you know. So yeah, so that's how I got my start. And ever since then, I came up with the concept Michael's Corner. And that was in that was in 20 um late 2013 into 2014. That's why I came up with the concept Michael's Corner. And ever since I came up with that concept, I just stack with it. And everybody loves my interviews.
They're
So
fantastic.
yep, I just continue to do them and upload them on my YouTube channel. And and speaking of YouTube, I got about 1,400 subscribers.
Nice. I have like 8, but I got a video with 55,000 views, so that was sweet.
Damn.
Yeah, it was Danhausen's AEW debut. I recorded with my cell phone off the TV. My my buddy
Yeah.
called me at work at like 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like, "Bro, your video's going viral." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Log into your YouTube."
Mm-hmm. And I could tell you, I woke up one morning to see like all my views, how many views I got. Because I record some wrestling matches and
Oh yeah,
then upload them on my YouTube. Oh my God, my biggest um views that I ever had. It was the most reviewed video was Nikki Heat versus Julia Hart. Oh
that
my God.
was that MAW high stakes?
That was MAW. I believe so.
Yeah,
It
I
was
was gonna say that sound.
MAW.
If
It
my
was in
memory serves correct, that was like
hold
Julia's
on.
last big one before she left.
Yeah, hold on there. Yeah, I believe it was high stakes. It was in Savage, and I filmed the match. I filmed the intergender match, and I uploaded on my YouTube channel. And oh my goodness, when I got up one morning, I started getting even more views after more views. I got like up to 9,000 views. I was like, holy shit. And then on top of that,
Oh,
the views just kept on getting more and more and more. I'm probably up to I'm already up to 10K. And I
nice.
and I was like, oh my goodness. So that made me, I was like, I gotta keep doing this. Like if they're liking the wrestling matches that I film, I gotta keep doing this. So ever since then, people are looking forward to the matches now.
Yeah, you
So
were at. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah. So yeah, I was flattered that I got so many views off of that match that I filmed. And and that just, I was like, that just made me wanna keep doing this. And that's how my YouTube channel kept on growing. And what kept my YouTube channel growing is I interviewed Molly Holly. That got more views. I got more subscribers off of that. But once I start interviewing Trish Stratus, my numbers just kept. I got up to 425 views. And I got 20 plus subscribers off of that interview.
Just off of that one.
Yeah. So now I'm up to 1,400.
That's insane. Just
That's
dedication.
insane. And these people are expecting more out of me. They want more
Yes, they
content.
are.
They want more content. So that's what I'm doing. I'm creating content, for my subscribers. And that's the reason why I like to stay busy. So I can keep doing these interviews, so I can keep getting, the more views and more subscribers and whatnot. But people just gotta keep watching. And that's how my YouTube is gonna keep growing. My YouTube channel is gonna keep growing. Is people keep watching and stay tuned, because you never know. I could be in the ring. And
You never know who's gonna pop up next.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell my subscribers, because you never know. Yours truly might be in the ring. You never know. So let's I'm gonna ask you some questions about what is your favorite match. It could be
Uh,
any match of AWF. What was your favorite match?
that is so tough. I don't want to give the cliche Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker WrestleMania rematch. It was
Okay.
so good. It was so good. Omega and Osprey at Wrestle Kingdom was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. Um, oh my goodness. Best match I ever saw. I'm going to go with the Forgotten Money in the Bank ladder match that
Mm-hmm.
happened on SmackDown, I believe. So
Mm-hmm.
that was an absolute car crash on national television that nobody saw coming. It was
Okay.
before Money in the Bank was a like branded pay-per-view. Like I'm pretty sure that was when they just had the concept of it.
Oh, okay. So you're talking
Or
about
TLC. TLC 2 was insane.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Teenage Me lost my
actually
mind.
yeah, everybody loved that match.
It
My
just
favorite
took it to
yeah,
another level.
yeah. And my favorite match that I ever seen in my life was when they redid it was when Carmella won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because James Ellsworth got the
Yeah.
briefcase and gave it to Carmella
Yep.
the next day. Then on SmackDown, they redid the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and she ultimately won.
Yeah, without James Ellsworth help the second time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
without the help of James Ellsworth. And that was even a great match, because they never saw a women's Money in the Bank ladder match on SmackDown.
Nope. It's a historic moment.
Yep, so that's the historical moment itself. Now let's talk on the indie side. So the
Ooh.
best match, oh my god, that I ever
Oh
seen.
man.
Oh my god, it was Hot Shot Danny Duggan versus John E. Rock. It
Oh
was
man.
at a yeah, it was at a MEW Minnesota Extreme Wrestling show. It was a back and forth battle. And I got that, I still got the match on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So when you go to my YouTube channel, Michael's Wrestling Channel, you'll see that I have a playlist. Once, and you may have to stroll all the way down
Scroll
until
to
you
it.
see Minnesota Extreme Wrestling. So once you see that match between Danny Duggan and John E. Rock, I want you to see that match and let me know what you think about it, because that was the back. These guys went back and forth. It would have gone either way. It would have gone either way.
Those are the best.
Yeah. And a lot of best match that I ever seen. Oh my goodness. It was, oh my God. Um, it was MEW. It was Darren Corbin. I don't know if you heard of him.
Oh, I might have heard of him a time or two.
Yeah, it was Darren Corbin versus Greg Hertz. Oh my God. That's also a lot of great match. It was so entertaining. It was that show. It was at a MEW show in Foley, Minnesota. That's where Darren Corbin is from. That's his neck of the woods. And there wasn't that many people. There wasn't that many people there other than Darren Corbin's people, family members, and whatnot. So I filmed that match, and that was the best match. And I kept on chanting, "Tiny Wiener." Yes, yes, I kept on chanting that, and then it was the best. It was for the MEW United States title. So Darren was the champion, Greg Kurtz was the challenger, and when Greg Kurtz, the ending, I'm gonna tell you, the ending was so perfect because Greg Kurtz fell on top of Derek Corbin and pinning him 1, 2, 3, and he won. And Greg Kurtz won the title. So that was a lot of best great match. So yeah, so oh my God. Let's talk about Nick Nelson for a minute.
Oh,
Because
goodness.
I like Nick Nelson. I don't care what anybody says. I
I'm
like
with
this
you on
dude.
that, dude, unabashedly.
And you know something? You might agree with me on this one. He does, he reminds me, and I told him about this too. He reminds me of the young Triple H,
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Hunter Hearst
Yes.
Helmsley.
When he would do the bow and everything, absolutely.
Oh my God. Nick Nelson is such old school.
I
He's
feel
such,
like the only people who don't secretly love Nick Nelson are the gap tooth cowpokes he's always talking about and the pigs in lipstick. They're the ones who don't like him.
yeah, yeah, and I think they're stupid for not, liking Nick Nelson, because he is, look at him. He's old school, and he has a
Grizzled.
lot of class.
Oh, absolutely.
And
High class
and
crown
he
champion.
won, yeah. And I was now you we all know that Nick Nelson, he doesn't do interviews that much, but guess who did? I did.
That's right.
I did the interview because he actually told me that he doesn't feel comfortable. He doesn't do interviews because he doesn't feel comfortable but he let me interview him. And that's and that's great, you know. And I told him I don't make anybody do anything that they're not comfortable doing. Nick Nelson says, you know what? I'm just gonna do it for you. And if anybody asks me to interview, they say, go right to Michael's corner, what right to the interview that I did with him and check that out for themselves. You know?
It's awesome.
Yeah. So what else should we talk about? Oh yes. Yeah, I love going to AWF shows.
They put on good shows.
Yeah, Tony DiNucci puts on great shows. And I might get my hand slapped for saying this, but I told like one of the talent that I need to speak to Tony DiNucci about something, and and they said, you know, they came back. It's like, do you want to talk to Tony DiNucci? I said, absolutely. So they sent me to the back to the locker rooms because you know what? I so basically I'm a fan, and you know, like there's a just trying to respect people's
Yeah,
you
there's
know
boundaries.
boundaries and whatnot. But
Absolutely.
actually, the guys are pretty damn okay with me because they know that I been a long time fan of AWF, so they allow me in the back,
Hmm.
and I got a chance to talk with Tony DiNucci. And I tell him about some stuff, which I'm going to disclose because I don't want to get my hands
We're gonna leave
slapped.
it at that. Some behind the doors conversations were had.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I like AWF shows at a high school is because it's a bigger venue. And like, if I wanted to do some interviews, we can go find a quiet place,
Hmm.
and I have my setup, and we could do the interview. I got my own microphone and everything.
You
So,
were asking earlier about the best indie match I ever saw. I've been sitting
oh
here
yeah,
thinking the whole time. I got three of them, and they all include NDS.
okay,
So my first show I ever worked was in Wadena, Minnesota, and I watched Levy Cruz hit a frog splash off a ladder through a table in a parking lot wearing jeans and hey dudes.
wow,
And I went, okay. And I had already known Riley Jackson at this point, but I wasn't real familiar with Levy yet. Fast forward to a show we did in Elk River when we were still with AWF. We had Eric Redbeard Rowan and Brandon Gore versus NDS for the titles. That was an amazing match. And then the last show I worked for AWF, NDS had a street fight with 24 Karat Honey, Matt Honey, Buzz Buzz, and Uriah Upton, the Golden Boy. And yet again, watched Levy Cruz hit a frog splash off a ladder through a table in a parking lot in jeans and hey dudes. It just
all
came full
right,
circle.
man, that Levy Cruz, I
That
freaking love
boy
this
is
kid.
nuts.
I freaking love this kid because he can just, you know, he's a
He
great wrestler.
goes. And him and
Yeah.
Riley pair so well together. Their styles play so well together. They know each other so well.
Mhm. Yeah, I actually got to interview Riley Jackson for the first time,
Nice.
and he was only, oh my God, this kid was only 18, I believe.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my, I was even blown away. It was at a wrestling show. I think I remember it. I think it was Pro Wrestling Entertainment. Dirty Ernie, I don't know if you heard of him. Dirty Ernie, that was Dirty Ernie's show. He was at a Dirty Ernie show in Isanti. And this kid was just, he was either 17 or 18 years old. Actually was 18. I got to interview him, and oh my goodness, I told him he was young and whatnot. And he had hair at the time.
That was when you had the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and he was such a nice kid. And I enjoy interviewing him. You gotta check that. I mean, you gotta check that interview out.
I'm
It's
saying I'm
still
gonna be
on
going on a
YouTube.
deep dive on your page now tonight.
It's on YouTube,
I didn't
Sal.
realize you have 10 years worth of worth of content.
You damn right I do.
You damn right.
Yeah, I got it's there. You gotta stroll all the way down. And I was like, you gotta stroll all the way down to my interview with Riley Jackson. And I interviewed him for the first time, and he's like, he's all about the ladies. I was like, oh my goodness.
I'm pretty sure that hasn't changed.
That has not changed. And it's like
No.
one of these days, I'm gonna interview Riley Jackson alone again. Because he's pretty much grown up.
That man
And
has more charisma in one pinky than a lot of entire locker rooms have combined.
yes, and you know something? He is the best baby face, and he'll let you know when he goes heel. At
Oh,
first,
he is a dastardly heel, too.
I was a little bit skeptical because he went heel and whatnot. But as he grew, as he would start growing into a competitor, I actually beginning was like, you know what? He's changed. I mean, he's now beginning to start knowing the work and whatnot.
Putting it all together.
And yeah, and teaming up with Levy Cruz, I'm telling
Oh,
you,
man.
those two are inseparable.
Oh, they're a literal perfect pairing.
Oh, and also, and before we wrap up this interview, I gotta talk about this one particular wrestler that I really like. Have you heard of Kyle Pro?
The pro that runs the show? Fun fact,
Yeah.
Kyle Pro was the first person that I ever announced. He was the debut opener match of the first show I ever worked. And I believe, I don't have my notebook handy, but I will double check this. I believe it was Kyle Pro versus Alvin Falcone, and I thought Alvin Falcone was going to feed me my microphone.
Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't have a whole lot of confidence on his entrance spiel, and he backed me up into the corner and looked me dead in the eye and said, "Boy, do it again." And I did it again, and he looked at me and said, "One more time, or I'm gonna slap the shit out of you." And I gave it everything I had.
I tell you, I know Kyle Pro for a long time.
I got nothing
We
but love for
go,
Kyle Pro, man.
we go way back. It was back when he was setting up the ring. He was one of the ring crew at
Yep.
a wrestling show. And I was like, yep, he's setting up the ring and I saw him I saw him at a wrestling show. I was like, oh my goodness. He was a nice dude and it's like never thought I seen the day that I saw him wrestle. So when I first saw him wrestle in person, he got on his little singlet and whatnot. And I was like, he's good. He's already good. He got the training and whatnot. But when I first interviewed Kyle Pro, and I still got it on YouTube,
Go way back for it.
It was January of 2018.
Wow.
This interview was special to me because um I'm gonna get a little, you know, it's kind of like a touchy subject, so I'm gonna get a little touchy here.
Uh-oh.
When I interviewed Kyle Pro, my mom was already in the hospital. Okay, so and she wanted to come home. She wanted to come home at, you know, and whatnot. And I told my father that I wanted to, I'm gonna be going away to a wrestling show. So I interviewed Kyle Pro for the first time, and Leonard Legacy wanted me to interview him, so I got to interview him before the show. And it's like we were just talking about how he got his start. He was still in training. He was still in training, but he still was wrestling, but he was still in training. So I interviewed him, and when he revealed to me and Leonard literacy that he has autism, I kind of froze in shock. I
Yep.
was like,
I was the same way. I have
it
my
was
youngest son
like,
has autism.
it was like, can I? It's like Leonard's like, do you want me to stop the video? I said, hell no, you better not stop the video.
Don't cut out raw
I
emotion.
want this to I want this to continue because this was a moment. I don't
Yeah.
yeah. So then we kept doing the interview and whatnot. And then after I was home from the show, um my mom, my dad wanted to talk to me, talk to me about what happened. And that's when I found out that my mom was having, complications of diabetes, and she passed out again the second time and whatnot. And then that following week, she passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And I always tell this story. This like I wasn't there when she collapsed. And they what some of my friends said that was a good thing that you wasn't there because I would have panicked, you know.
Yeah.
I would have gone in panic mode. And so I feel like going to these wrestling shows has really changed my life, and it also saved my life because I was going through hell, you know. So to be able to continue to doing what I'm loving to doing now is actually, you know, is helping me. And that's how Kyle Pro and we kind of bonded. And I told him the news. When I told him the news about my mother's passing, I'll tell you, he was there for me through thick and thin.
Yep.
And like I said, I have a huge support system. I got I got MAW, I got AWF on my side, I got all this, I got this huge support system that, and
And it's
if it
not for
wasn't
nothing.
for,
You certainly deserve it.
yeah, and if it wasn't for them, I don't think I could have done this alone, you know. And that's the same thing like when my sister got sick. She passed away July of that same year that my mother had
Oof.
passed. Yeah. So they were really there for me in that time of need, you know.
Yeah,
And so yeah, it was a rough one, but I just kept doing what I love, and that's going to wrestling shows, seeing my wrestling family, and
absolutely.
yeah, and that's what's that. And and again, I am happy that you're doing much better because look at
Thank
you, you're not, you're sober, you're you're
you.
getting
Happy.
the help, and actually, I got to interview three wrestlers over the weekend at an MIW show. Terry Fox, have you heard of him?
Yep, I've spoke with Terry a few times. Very nice man.
Yep. Terry Fox puts on the best damn shows. I'm telling you. And actually, I got to interview this one wrestler named Kingpin.
I
And
love Kingpin, man.
oh my
That
God,
is a big
that
boy.
interview, that I did an interview with him, but that's coming up. I gotta let him know when that interview is coming up.
Yeah,
I
he's
won't re-
he's one
I
to
won't
watch.
I won't reveal it because I want people to watch it once it premieres on YouTube. And I'm gonna tell you, that interview is gonna be blowing up.
Oh, I'm
So,
excited.
all right, sound good. Before okay, let's wrap this up. Where can people or wrestling fans find you on social media?
You guys can find me on Facebook at Saul Good, on Instagram at Saul Good MN. We have our podcast is going to be every other Saturday on basically every platform: Rumbler, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. Into the Barricade, brought to you by Mayhem Media, and that's going to be me and Connor Clarkson, along with Lex the Nightmare Noir as our third host. So we get a
Mm-hmm.
little different perspective as I've worked commentary. She's been in the ring. Connor is currently in the ring. He's a British indie wrestler. So it's like we're
Mm-hmm.
getting three different takes from three completely different backgrounds on everything that's happening at the same time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's so nice having you on. I hope
Great
we
to be
do
back.
this again. I hope we do this
Absolutely. Let's save
again.
this one.
Yeah, and this is the best one. And this time I hit record, and once it's all once we're done with this interview and whatnot. Now usually it takes a while for me and once I get the link to this interview, um I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I get the link to the interview, and then um I'll let you know when I upload the interview. It'll probably be like either later this month or
Okay.
early August before this interview airs, because I'm trying to do air my interviews, my episodes of Michael's Corner. I'm not trying to do it all at once. I'm gonna
No.
do it like a weekly, like every Sunday or
Right. Every
Monday or
Sunday at
whatever.
7 p.m., you know there's a new one coming.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
idea.
All right. Well, Sal, you have a wonderful evening.
You as well,
And
Michael. Thank you for
we'll,
having me again.
yeah, we'll chat again soon, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep. So that was a great interview. Sal Good. He's one of my friends and whatnot in the wrestling business and whatnot. So that will do it for this episode of Michael's Corner. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.